All right, guys. So it looks like we got in. As far as alerts, we might have gotten a little bit early here, but I do expect a bit of a turnaround here. Like this in this case, this card here is meaning like out of oversold territory. So I expect us to go down. What I'm waiting for is this us to break through. This is a 15-minute candlestick chart. I'm waiting for us to break through the 30 RSI, and then I'd enter into the remaining portion, the majority of a long position for a day trade. However, it's really starting to look like more and more of a bearish day to me. It's a difficult card to read, theme card to read, because the Prince of Discs in a lot of cases is like a move into a key support level and then rotation sideways along that support. But sometimes the move is big, and it could be a support to the up, it could be a support to the down. And then the way that the highs and the lows and the trades are set up, it's a little interesting because we have this decline off of a high, offering opportunity to open up a long position, indicating that we should see the high again. However, we should have seen, based on my expectation, we should have seen a high probably by 11:30. Let's see what happens right before 12 o'clock. If there's like this really big move to the upside, then I'll be much more. I'll have a much better understanding, I think, of what's going to go on the rest of the day. But if we don't see that big move to the upside, it's going to be a very big down day in that case. Like this was throwing me off when actually recording the reading. This is like cash out ruin, and it's in a very low kind of signification, if you will. So it may be that this was to open up a short. The opportunity at the open was to open up a short and close it there, and that would put that low at like just before 2 o'clock. But there's a few different ways that it could play out. It's one of those days where there's a few different ways where it could play out. We could also have a high before that low. It's a tricky day. I love Mercury retrograde. With the sense of irony, I'm saying that, or sarcasm, I should say. Excuse me. We do have that double X there from the prior day. Interesting. Yeah, it does look like we're going lower. So here's another thing, guys. We want to be very careful. So today on the 1 month, we've got the 21st card is the less card, but we actually have that on the daily taking place today, and it appears just after, at the end of the day yesterday, we had the death card, which is on the 1 month, today's card. So on the 1 month, looks like we're a day behind on the 1 month, or in real time we're a day ahead of the 1 month, I should say, putting that big move there today. But it may might take place, and then we just go south from there. I think it goes sideways for a bit and then south. It gets a little wild, I think, because we're coming up on the other end of retrograde. So I think we probably do kind of a sideways thing. Matter of fact, where did my ellipses go? Or that might have been on the. Yeah. So we pretty much nailed that, guys. I mean, I expected us to be here, and it may very well be that we end up in this price range here. But I said there was the possibility of it being within this range. I put those ellipses there. Well, I should say, originally it was here. I've moved it to here for the sake of accurate expectations. But I put those ellipses on the chart back here on. I think it was either the fifth or the sixth that I did it. It was when I drew this line and this line. So that's based on Mercury retrograde and what I've seen Mercury retrograde do 3 times a year since 2007, when I first started watching it in relation to the stock market. It's uncanny. There's a definite pattern, and it's a reliable pattern. Like, I'd say in the 90s as far as how often it happens in the 90 percentile. I've seen maybe like 3 retrogrades where it didn't follow the pattern exactly the same way that it's expected to. So it's never a sure bet. There's always other things that come into play that will affect it the second time around. But this was a pretty solid expectation. So people who were doing the long-term swing trade, opening up a long down here and holding it, hopefully they've closed out at this point, because our expectation was to close out in this range. We hit it earlier than expected, but it's still the same price range that we were looking to exit. So that would have been the exit for the long. Now you could be in like a position where you're in both directions, where you got a straddle. Matter of fact, the strangle, I think, is... I get them confused. Hold on a sec. I want to make sure I do it correct. I'm saying it correctly. Yeah, it's with the same strike price. Okay, so straddle, yes, correct. Just double checking. So you could be in a straddle, and the thing is, when you're trading SO Meta, you don't do straddles the same way that you do it when you're just a technical trader, which is to put both legs of the straddle on at the same time, right? In SO Meta, you're timing the market. In technical analysis, timing the market is impossible. In SO Meta, we time the market every single day, just about, like, so it's a completely different way of trading. And so you would put each leg on separately when it's appropriate. When you're moving to the downside, you put on the long leg. When you're moving to the upside, you put on the short leg. And then what you do is you exit each leg separately as well in the midst of this back and forth volatility. Whereas in technical analysis trader would exit both legs with one big move in either direction. A technical trader would tell you never to close each leg separately. That would be like so against what the classical technical trader does. But I mean, the computers rule classical technical traders, if you ask me. They're ruled by computers, because the computers have sway of the market. And if you're new to the channel, guys, what I'm talking about with this Mercury retrograde strategy pattern, it used to be a theory. So sometimes I say theory, but it's not a theory. It's proven, in my opinion, and we've done it enough times, is that this was when we entered the pre-shadow of retrograde. This portion here is pre-shadow. And you can see there's the definite reversal right there. And then right here on the other end, definite reversal to the upside, right? So when we get to this point here, what we should see is basically like a similar pattern to this. It's never going to be exactly the same, because the weekends will break up the pattern. Like the weekends aren't congruent. Neither is the number of days in a lot of cases. It has to do with degrees in the sky. But the point being is that the weekends break it up pretty notably. So you can have some pretty notable deviations. So the best way to trade with this strategy is to watch what it does in the pre-shadow. Don't trade the actual retrograde period, which is this middle period. And then as soon as we hit the post shadow, have an expectation, whatever the overall trend was for the pre-shadow is what you should expect basically here. Pretty much the same thing. There will be some deviations, like I said, because of the weekends, but the overall trend will be very much the similar. That's how I drew this part of the chart. And that's how I drew this red line and this green line here. I drew that based on this pattern, right? In retrograde, you have like an inverted version of the pattern. And then when you get back into the post shadow, it comes back to, basically the same direction. Hey, AU. Will BTC recover well tonight back to 60K? Well, the U.S. market might turn around. It might, but it's looking more and more bearish. As far as Bitcoin, These are my expectations for Bitcoin. I think I've been a little bit off my game in August. It's not that everything's like all bad, but I think I missed a couple of things. So this is looking. We need a sharp drop here, right, for that to really transpire. I think we probably. That spike there is probably the fast sudden move higher of the Knight of Discs card, which ends some sideways rotation. There's a fast sudden move higher, but then it turns into these price swings that we have here. And there was like a trough early in the day here on the 20th. It's really tricky because this is a bullish card with a bearish kind of ending, and then the purple correlation here is very bullish. The purple correlation is to the Prince of Wands. But then we've got this here, which might indicate another lowest low. The issue being is that the theme card, which informs the whole rest of the reading and how to read the overall trend, the theme card is a very difficult card to read trend. It's historically it's been kind of like a flat card. Recently I've seen it do like this flat thing where it's a big move to resistance and then it comes back down like about equidistant from the move up. So it's a little tricky. There are possibilities of a low here, but I'm also seeing bullish behavior, and I think it's probably a low. So what happens is we've got these price swings here, sideways fluctuating, rally probably increasing with momentum, and then it should turn over somewhere around the end of the day on the 21st, 22nd. I don't think there's a low there now. I'm getting a conflicting kind of energy right now. It might be that there's like a wild swing here. That might be what's going on. It would make sense as we get closer to the 28th to see the volatility become more increasing. And then on the 28th, the volatility will kind of like freeze, and then it'll be intense again on the 29th and kind of peter out into the 11th. So we'll see what happens, but there's some possibility of, let's see, I'm gonna modify this chart. And if you're new to the channel, these red ellipses are when you see a red ellipse on the chart, it's an expectation where I expect to see a trough or a low form. And when it's like, when there's two ellipses, one on top of the other, the darker portion is where it's more likely, much more higher probable location of the reversal. It could come all the way down here, but I think that's where the reversal is. But be very, very careful, guys, because it's retrograde. I always tell people not to trade on retrograde. All right, let's do this. A green ellipse is basically the opposite of a red ellipse. It's where I expect a crest or a peak to form. There's one more. There's got to be one more drop in there very, very soon. I think. I think one or two of these might both be accurate. I think at least one of these is accurate, and it might be that we come up on that today. It's very likely in the midst of these price swings. Okay, so the 23rd, there's probably a crest. This is looking more bearish, more and more bearish as I investigate deeper into it. All right, so it looks like we probably come back to roughly this range here. And so if this one ends up being lower than this one, then I would say that these highs at the end of the month are probably off the table. But I don't think that's necessarily the case here, guys. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see if we go down to these levels. If we don't, then I think there's a good chance there's highs here at the end of the month. But if we do come down, and then if we go even lower here, I'd say they're off the table. We'll have to see. Again, a lot of the August readings really difficult to read because the way that we do these readings is the theme card. It informs how to read the overall trend of the rest of the cards. And when you get a flat kind of card or a card that's not the most decisive as far as direction, it becomes a little difficult to get that for the majority of them in August. Very difficult. I don't think I've seen that happen before. So we'll have to see how it goes. Interesting. AU, where's that information from? Is that from your own experience, or is that from my book, or where's that from? Because that's pretty much exactly, you got it pretty much exactly how I see it. Hey, Proof. ETH, is it bullish for the rest of August? Well, how did that happen? Weird. We're about to check out ETH for August. If you're new to the channel, guys, this is SO meta analysis. This is the third form of analysis, the most accurate form of chart analysis existing, and it's so cutting edge. Most people think it's crazy. It's so cutting edge. Most people think it's crazy. So if you're here watching this and you know it to be fact because you've been watching for a while and you see that, give yourself a pat on the back for being on the cutting edge of society's kind of belief system, if you will. Took 20 years to develop this, running roughly a 95-96% accuracy. I think it's probably a higher win rate than that on my trades right now. Yeah, well, that's that off of a peak here at the beginning of the month of August, we meet this resistance and then we decline, consecutively lower spikes down. We don't even really see too much. I mean, there are a little bit in there, but not so much spikes. And then there's a notable reversal off the low. A lot of price change here on the cusp to the upside. Yeah, we probably move to, let's see, where are the highs? We might even come back to highs here, guys. I mean, based on the 1 year, it looks like we come back to highs. Let me see. Might be a good trade in here. No, it's not a high. It'll stand out though. It'll be a peak of some kind. So let's see. Is it back here? I can't even do it with my eyes closed. That's a first. I never tried before. That's how many readings I've done, guys. Well, I just got a unicursal hexagram impression here. Looks like we probably come back to this price range here. Somewhere around there, probably. Probably somewhere in there, but we might have a bit of a more of a drop. I don't think we do, guys. I think we probably move to the upside from here after a little bit of sidewaysy behavior, which the Princess of Discs indicates a lot of price change, but you have a important support level on a 1 year chart scale that's highlighted involved in that price change. Then at the end of the month, we also have here a couple of other indications, reverse clairvoyant anchors. This is a breakout ruin to a peak. This is a big move kind of to the upside. And then we've even got the pendulum in there, which in a lot of cases is indicating highs. Not always, but a lot of the time. Awesome, AU. Yeah, it's really very much what I found it to be. I used to read it more as like a flat kind of energy, but it's definitely it's definitely more of a resistance that we move into, and then we kind of like it's a flat energy in regard that there's this big move into resistance, and then almost like an equidistant or maybe even more back out of that resistance. All right, guys. So I was just hopping on, get some people on a different time frame, show them what our lives are like. I'm gonna drop a. I'm gonna let you guys know about a special offer in just a moment. But before I do that, I want to let everybody know about a good way to support the channel here, guys. You go to our YouTube channel, Tarot for Traders. Click on join. Why it's not doing anything, I don't know. That's weird. What the heck? I wonder why it won't want me, but in any case, you click on join, and there's a $50 a month supporter subscription there, which gets you a star next to your name. Come the end of Mercury retrograde, guys, very likely all of our lives are going to be members only, which means you can watch, but if you want to ask questions, you're going to need one of those stars next to your name. We had to cut people's hours and all this stuff, so I'm trading and my trading's going really well, but I started with a really small amount, so it's going to be probably 6 or 7 weeks before I feel like I'm in a better position. So until that time, and that's like, that's optimistic, but until that time, these type of things really count. So if you want to support, great way to do it. Right now it gets you priority response to your questions. Oh, real quick, I want to look at that Ethereum. Where did it go? I want to look at that Ethereum trade. Yeah, all right, so we're going to see this price level again here. So I would say when we meet this range here, when the price is within this range, that would be a good entry point. Somewhere within this range, I might buy a little bit here. If we go down here, I'd buy more. If we go up instead, I bought a little. But what I'd be doing is buying a long position with the anticipation of it doing something like coming into this range somewhere. Special offer, guys, and it's probably our best offer, like our best special offer that we've had to date. Our subscriptions, our top level subscription, which is normally $1,000, it gives you access to everything, like all the readings. It gives you access to all of the readings, our 1-year readings, our monthly readings, our multi-year readings. Any paid dailies that we do, anything paid like that, basically, aside from alerts as of right now, it's $500 off, and that's per month for the lifetime of the subscription. It's half price. It's the same price as our mid-level price right now. So if you were going to get the mid-level, you might as well go for that, like, while you can. That'll be gone by September. That deal will be gone by September. And then also we have this spend 1,000 coupon code. Spend 1,000, get $250 off. We put the custom readings back. If anybody checked this out, our website out, and it wasn't there, they were down for some reason. We've got 4 different ways. You could get a multi-year reading, a 1-year report, custom monthly reading, or the 1 month of consecutive dailies, which is like the S&P stuff that we're doing. This is a 1 day. There we go. Boom. I would have expected us to go down. Well, at that point, I would have expected us to go down a bit more, and we might still do that. We might still go down, actually. I think we got more ways to go, but that's this adjustment card coming out of oversold territory to the upside. It's noontime. We should have a breakout here. Based on that ruin, we should have a breakout. Oh wow, it might get pretty wild right here. It might get pretty wild right here, guys. Matter of fact, I'm not so sure about a breakout based on the placement of the other ruins. We got this pump move, and then it should be followed mid, like 12:30 or maybe a little bit sooner. It should be followed by this move to the downside, and then we should have this pop and drop out of this low is probably what's going to take place. We have a low there. Let's see. Yeah, we've got a low there. Do we have a high there as well? We got a low and a high there between the 1 and 2 o'clock hours. So pretty big move, pop and drop there. And then I think we finish off near. I think we probably finish off near lows, but moving to the upside. Like probably off of the lows, but moving to the upside. Do I expect the high in Amazon end of day today? Last question, guys. Do I expect the high in Amazon today or more or a bearish day? For Amazon, let's take a look. Oh, my Amazons. I don't have my Amazons on. It's difficult to say because we've got that ace of discs there, so a lot of price change. But my sense is that tomorrow we should be at a higher price level. Let me see. I got the ace of discs. Interesting. Matter of fact, it looks like today might be like a this might be a this is probably about as high as it goes before there's a turnaround. Yeah, tomorrow looks more bearish than bullish. And today's kind of like a top off. But end of day, are we higher or lower than we are now? We'll be higher at end of day than we currently are. All right, my friends, with that said, thank you all so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. If you don't know about the rule of karma, this is the whole purpose of the channel, transmuting competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. You do that on the resources tab of our website. 5% of the profits from all profits from this information should be donated forward to one of these charities. And 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. Thank you very much for your support. Leaving you with 90%, which is way more than any stockbroker would ever leave you with. And they suck. They don't even analyze stocks. They're just giving scripts. You know. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma, the universe considers you an angel investor of the channel. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys this afternoon around 3